Joining us now is Reuben Youngblom. He's a managing editor at the Crypto Economic Systems Journal and Conference Series. Hello there, Reuben. Thanks for joining us. So, yes, you have a list of the top universities for blockchain in 2022. Give us the rundown.
Yeah, well, first, thank you for having me. It's always great to be here. I'm not entirely sure how to follow the doomsday plans of billionaires, but yeah, let's get into some statistics here.
Give some optimism.
Yeah, well, I hope I can. That's not how I naturally skew, but I'm excited to try. So yeah, the new rankings are coming out today. We're very excited. Every year we try to go a little bit bigger, a little bit bolder, bring in more data, and I think they should have been published around now, so anybody can go check those out. And I hope it's a pretty good and very rigorous guide to what's happening in the blockchain world at the university level.
What are some of the top takeaways?
Yeah, so we went really global this year. We looked really deep into what schools are doing, both in terms of putting out research, in terms of what they're doing at the campus level to make it a blockchain-friendly environment for students. So I think the big takeaway is just looking at where the research and where these blockchain initiatives are moving. So last year there was a lot of talk about Asia, and Asia was doing a great job. They were really dominating the top of the list. And this year there was sort of a surprising shift, really more towards Australia. And I didn't quite catch what Douglas was saying about billionaires in Australia, but I'm sure there's a conspiracy theory in there somewhere that I'm not going to put the dots together. But
well, regionally, I did see that Asia made 4 of the top 10. So is there more demand and interest? Where regionally do you see the most demand and interest?
Yeah, so I think there are 2 ways to look at it. One is sort of to look at objective demand. And to some extent, we expect there to be more of that in Asia just because there are more universities in Asia, there are more people. The reason why I singled out Australia is because with a relatively small population and a relatively small number of universities, when you look at, and it's kind of an arbitrary metric, but say the top 30 or so, Australia is very overrepresented compared to what you would expect. So the top universities, a lot of them are in Asia, a lot of them are in the United States, but we would kind of expect that just given these populations and given the educational histories or the university histories of a lot of these regions.
We also saw that the Hong Kong Polytechnic University moved up in the rankings from the previous year. What accounted for that?
Yeah, that's a new one. They took NUS, National University of Singapore, out of the top spot, which is always very exciting. Just looking through the numbers, it looks like they went on, either intentionally or unintentionally, they had a pretty big research push. So the metric where they really dominated was what we call scholarly impact, where we look at how many research papers are getting put out by these teams, what is the impact that the papers are having in the world. We look at how many times the papers are cited and kind of integrated into other research. And we also look at whether or not the primary author on the paper was the one from the university that we're trying to assess.
Do you have a sense of the job potential once graduating from these programs?
That's a really important question. And that is a metric that is always a little bit challenging to try to get good data from. But again, every year we're improving what we're doing. We did a lot of more automated data scraping to try to take the human element out of the process and eliminate some of the false data. But we got data from the schools, some from just our own kind of data collection. And it looks like despite what people were worried about, people say as blockchain prices or as crypto prices go down, it affects the job market, it affects funding, it has these externalities. But that doesn't seem to be the case. It looks like demand for these jobs is still strong. We have the raw data available for anybody if they want to come and look at whatever some university is doing, how they're able to place graduates in the market. So I would encourage people, rather than try to extrapolate that kind of information from the rankings, to actually look at the raw data.